It is now 3:30 in the morning and I haven't as yet slept. But I'm just lying here. I've just uploaded a video. It was a Facebook Live that I recorded today. And I'm just lying here as I was uploading and I'm thinking to myself, well, it's not something, I could easily fall into victim mentality or get depressed or, you know, any number of things to the negative as a consequence of, as I've said in the video, the one I just uploaded, to go back to my place and I'm confronted with mildew. I wasn't able to clean all of it because I didn't have time, because I had to come back. I'd left my sister here, obviously, as I said in the other video. Right, so I'd left her here by herself by the time I got back, it was closer to 4:45. So I'd say she was here for about 4.5 hours. Yeah, about 4.5 hours by herself in bed. So the plan was to come back and work. So I didn't actually, another day where I've not had an opportunity to work. So I've got a property that I'm not living in. I haven't been there for a long time, but obviously I need to hold on to it. I'm paying a rent on it, and it's like a complete uphill battle because I've got work, but it's almost impossible to keep up from the I'm talking from the perspective of I didn't do any work on Monday. I managed to do a day's work yesterday, but that's because I abandoned Monday as a work day and I just prepared everything sort of a few days ahead. But what happened was, it's a long story, but I mentioned it, I touched on it in the previous video, but it wasn't, it was like when my sister's carer came. I timed it so that I could have a bath and be out of the bathroom by the time she comes, because as I've said in the previous video, the buzzer isn't working, the door rather. So even though I will hear it buzz, but if I press it, it won't. If I press the button for the person to come in, it won't open automatically. So I was mindful that I would need to go downstairs, so I didn't want to be in the bath. In fact, she came early. So it's a good. I timed it well actually, because I was expecting her around 7:30. So I timed it very well because I was out of the bath and I just needed to put my coat on because I had my night clothes on, but well, the top, I had my pajama top on, no bottoms. At that point, so I had to quickly rush downstairs. I just put the coat on and went and let her in. So she asked me how it went, because before my friend picked me up, she was here, and she asked me how it went. So I told her that I'm not. This isn't me whining or anything. I'm just saying how things can work out. So the plan was that he was gonna drop me, and as I well, I don't want to sort of because maybe it's a case of wires crossed. Maybe it was my misunderstandings. I'm not gonna say that he dropped me and then he left, and then I had to make my way back, because I wouldn't have gone if I'd known that I would have had to make my way back, because I think he was gonna come back in 2 or 3 hours, but that would have been too long to leave my sister here. Obviously, because she's in the bed and perhaps she might want to go to the bathroom, you know. So I said to him, I called him because he left without saying goodbye. So I called him and asked what's going on. And he said he's got another appointment. So he went to that. And so it's like, okay, great. So I was sort of doing what I could in the little time I had, obviously, because I had to leave to get back to my sister. So I fortunately it's the black mildew, not the green one, so that comes off quite easy. But I'm gonna have to find time from somewhere, God knows where, to go back and clean. But it wasn't until I was actually speaking to my carer, to my sister's carer, and she got the thing is, because of the way, uh, again, it sounds like I'm saying I'm so fantastic and everybody else is so rubbish, but it's not that, because I've said so many times that I keep myself to myself, I do my own thing, I work to my own standards. But the thing is, when you're dealing with people, you don't know which way the wind is going to blow. You don't. Put it this way, I've learned a very valuable lesson. I've learned a lesson because, as I said in the previous video, it's a good thing that I'd taken my coat, because it would have been very easy to just get in the car, because you're just going from door to door, so you don't need a coat. But it was a good thing that I did wear the coat, because I had to make my way. I had to make my way back independently. But all of that aside, so she wasn't very happy, because what she said to me was, um, well, she just pretty much said, she doesn't understand how he could do that, because he knows what the situation is with my sister, and she shouldn't really be left by herself for that length of time. I mean, it is what it is. It was what it is. What it is. It was what it was. But you see, like I said, I could be here suffering from depression. I've said before, but people think that it's because of my state of mind or something. About, I don't like the word suicide, but I'm not sort of talking in those terms, like whatever. But I'm a very practical person. Let's put it that way. So there are always solutions. So whatever. But so yeah, I'm actually lying here and I'm thinking, how comes, even though I'm not saying I'm broke, because I've got access to money, it's just that I can't do my work, obviously. And the plan was to come back and work, but because I was working, cleaning with, and there's mildew and whatever, I had to come here. I came back and had a bath so I could make sure that I didn't bring any of the spores back with me, and did some washing and so on. And then I tidied the flat, my sister's flat, and I just thought, how ironic. Here I am tidying my sister's flat, and my own flat needs tidying. So I I mean, look, I don't even know why I'm trying to look at the camera, because they can't see me anyway. But I just think, how comes I'm not depressed? Being serious, because I could be resentful, I could be bitter and twisted, because I'm not the only relative that my sister has. And my life has pretty much, I've said this before, my life has kind of gone down the toilet. I mean, even though my sister's ill, she's all right, Jack, because she's still getting paid and so on. And I kind of think to myself, I don't know, if we think in terms of the Bible, some of the things that the characters suffered. When I say characters, I mean, I call them characters because some people believe it's a fairy story, and the Bible being a book, you normally have characters in a book. So you've got people who actually suffered, but I kind of, you can get the violins out and it's like it's poor me, um, because even like I said with this one person who I thought, it's like, even my mother wanted to speak to him. She thanked him for helping me and helping my sister and everything. And it's just taught me a very valuable lesson to rely on nobody, to trust nobody. And that might sound like a very defeatist attitude, but it isn't. It isn't it, because, like I said, it's only because I didn't. It's only, sometimes God looks out for me in a very obvious way, and I get a flash of inspiration, or sometimes I don't know inspiration comes, I just do the thing. So obviously he would have known that I would have needed to make my own way back. So I wore the coat. So I because there are times when I've jumped in a car and I've not bothered with the coat because I'm going from door to door and back, right? So like I said, I've learned a lesson. I won't be doing that again. I don't know how long my sister's gonna be in this situation, but because there's not any improvement to the extent where I can have more time. I still need to dedicate the same every day. It's the same routine. It's the same routine every day, irrespective of what I've got to do. And of course, the irony is I've got my things that I need to take care of, and I cannot. And I said this in the previous video, and I've said it, and I stress it over and over and over, that people must look after their health. But there's no point getting sick and then going to a doctor. Because my sister's been to the doctor, and she spent 8 weeks in hospital, and she's no better off for it. I don't do doctors. Like I said, if I need to see a doctor, then I failed. I do God. And I'm very mindful of the scripture where it says, cursed is he who puts his trust in man. Well, what can I say? I really don't know where my life is going, but for some reason I'm not depressed. I don't know, maybe I've just resigned myself to whatever happens, I guess. I don't know. But I said to my sister's carer, because she's a believer as well, because we couldn't, I can't think of any reason, because like she comes every day, she knows what the score is. And she said, she said she was really glad that I was able to, when she came and she knew I said to her I was going back to my place for a couple of hours. She said she was really glad at that point when she came, and I said that to her because obviously I hadn't been there for like about 4 months. And for me, I was concerned that my clothes would be mildewed. Fortunately, they're not. Some things I had in the bathroom, and in the bedroom actually, there was mildew on them. But my mother said that not to throw them away, because if I wash them, the mildew will come out. or will come off. So I put them in a bin liner and carried them back with me and put them in my sister's washing machine. So all the mildew is gone now, so that's something positive. But there are some things that I will need to throw away, but I didn't have time to do that. So I'm going to have to try and find time from somewhere to go back and take care of everything that needs doing. As I was going to say a hell of a lot, but well, it's like, where does one start? There's a lot to be done. Just like I said, I'm going to have to take down the curtains. The net curtains are all mildewed, but I didn't have time to take anything down, so I've just had to leave everything as it is. But these videos that I'm doing, I've said so many times that things that I put out, they're not necessarily for now, they might be for later. So who knows, maybe this time next year my life will be so fantastic that I'll have these as a record to look back on and say, wow, how did I get from there to there? Because I mean, my life is just, I just seem to spend, not all of it, obviously, because there were times when I've got time for myself. Like a year ago, my life was fantastic. It was gym, sleep, work, sleep, gym, but that was my life. Oh, and weekends, just go out, play music, play with the band, do karaoke, go dancing. That was my life. But it's completely flipped. So I guess if it's flipped, it can flip again. Right? So these are just my thoughts as I lie here. It must be approaching 4 o'clock by now. Yeah, so not sure. It's just funny because I love sewing. That's the thing. And all the things that I do, I actually love doing them. But it's, you know what I mean. It's like I've got things to do. It's a bit like, it's almost like like when like I'm a character from Greek mythology, and like the gods are punishing me, a bit like Tantalus with the grapes and the water. I can never reach the grapes. He reaches up to get the grapes, they move. He bends down to get the water moves. It's a bit like that. So it's like I've got work. It's not like I don't have work. I have work, but I don't have time and opportunity to work at the rate that I normally do, that I need to. I, I keep referring back to the previous video, but the irony that I'm here cleaning someone else's flat, looking after someone else's affairs, and mine are spoiling. Literally. I have no idea what this is about. Except, I said in one previous video, one type headed trapped, that I do know there's a fine line between when God is doing something and when the devil is doing something. And it did occur to me at one point that maybe it is the devil that's trapped me here as a consequence of my sister's illness. And I say it again because people say to me, "Oh, but she can't help being sick." Well, I keep saying, if I had that attitude, if I had that mentality about you get sick, and there's nothing you can do about it, I wouldn't be here, or my sister would be, I don't know, maybe in a care home or something, because I would have the attitude and my health wouldn't be what it is. So even though I wasn't well last week, I kept going. And I mean, yeah, it took me longer. It should have taken me a day or 2 days maximum to recover, but it took more than a week. My health was a bit in and out, temperature, sore throat, not coronavirus as I've said. But so basically what I'm saying, if I didn't have the attitude that I have, even though people think you're weird, You can't live like that, you can't think like that. If I didn't think the way I do, if I didn't behave the way I do, if I didn't live my life the way that I do, my sister would have been, as I said, in a care home. Right? She is in a care home because of how I choose to live my life. So I guess from that, it was, sometimes people are doing whatever it is in life they're doing, and people don't understand. Like, I'm very much misunderstood anyway. But I'm the kind of person I don't actually care what people think about me one way or the other. I'm gonna do what I need to do. But I think not everyone has got the same kind of, because I do personal development, and I was very mindful back in the early 90s to develop assertiveness. So I'm hyper assertive. So I can, whatever I need to say to someone, I can say it. If I need to tell someone to back off, I can do that. I don't have a problem telling people what's on my mind. But some people can't, and so they end up in situations where it might, they go into it knowing it's not the right situation for them. But I mean, on my sister's part, I didn't go to God and say, God, should I go and look after her? Or even better than that, I didn't say, oh, I would go and look after her, but I can't because coronavirus and lockdown, and I've got to follow the rules. Didn't do any of that. But like I said, I have no clue what comes next, and I am surprised that I'm not depressed. Sometimes I do get frustrated, and I have my small meltdown. But for everything, I'm not somebody who blames. The only person I blame is God, because if you do everything well, if like me, you're a believer and you do everything that you're supposed to do, and despite it all, it's not working for you, then the responsibility is on God. You do what you have to do, and then He does the rest. So I don't know what is going on. All I can say is that He's making my life so rubbish that because He intends to use it. Looking at the scriptures, He intends to use my situation to make an example, to use it as an example, because we're supposed to let our light so shine before men that they may see our good works and glorify our Father in heaven. But as I've been saying to people, I take no pleasure in what I'm doing. People think, oh, you should do it with a cheerful heart and all of that. It's not a question that I'm miserable doing it. I'm more resentful. It's just that I'm practical. It's like I should be at my place. If I had been there, I wouldn't have had the issue with the mildew, right? And I wouldn't be having the issue where I can't keep up with my work. All these things are a knock-on effect because my sister's not well. And if people think I'm cruel because I make this point, then too bad. But as I said, the lesson I learned today is even when somebody comes with the intention of helping me, don't know about anybody else, I'm talking about myself because we're here to learn and all of that. If somebody comes to me with the intention of helping me, I may say thank you, but no, because I'm going to have to judge them on their track record. So if somebody's unreliable, if in the past they've shown me that they're not someone to rely on, then I am going to treat them like that until such a time as they prove otherwise. So those are my thoughts, and I think I'm going to upload this first, and then I'm going to go to sleep, I think, and then tomorrow is another day. We see what happens, because it depends on my energy levels as well. So I'm going to have to try and play catch up on what I didn't do today, but I reckon I'm like 6 days behind my schedule now anyway. But if I sort of try and play catch up bit by bit. Maybe I can, I don't know, eventually get there. But then again, it depends on what my sister needs, right? Because as well, I need to go shopping tomorrow evening, so it's not like I can just say, right, I'm gonna just, when she goes to bed, I'm gonna start sewing. When she goes to bed, I'm gonna have to go shopping and possibly cook as well. So it's not as straightforward. Even though the days are pretty much the same, the days are usually standard. Other things can occur, or I have other responsibilities, which will prevent me from sticking to my goals. It was so easy when I was at my place. I was mistress of every second of every 24 hours of the day, and everything that I planned. If I said I was going to make 3 blinds, I made 3 blinds. And I'm talking about in one day. If I said I was going to go to the gym, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to work, and then I'm going to go out, whether it be to play with the band or to go to karaoke or go dancing. Everything I said I was going to do, I could do because I was completely in charge. And as well, because I don't mix with people as such. And the reason I don't is, again, it's a standards thing. People have got different standards, and if you want to complicate your life, you just go and mix with any and anyone, and you see how complicated it gets. So this is why I am where I am, and I've had my fallings out with people, and that has happened because we're not at the same level. And frankly, the problem isn't me, the problem is them, because of the level they're at. This is why we're falling out. So, and people would say, oh, but you got to be flexible. No, I don't have to be flexible, because to be flexible means me lowering my standards, and that's when I'm going to be in real problems, because that's what happened to me today. Even though it all worked out okay, I still came back, and I ended up not doing any work, so it had a knock-on effect after a fashion. So it is what it is. And who knows, in a year or so, maybe I'll come back to this video. Maybe even in a few months, I'll come back to this and say, well, what was I, was I actually there? And, was my life actually like that? If things pick up, you never know, anything could happen. So we will see how it goes. But anyway, take care, and have a good night.